match arrived and they were looking at this mural on the side of the ball court, they theorized that what the Maya were doing was practicing this horrendous sport where they would decapitate people and kick their head around like a ball. And of course, once you lose the understanding, a fundamental understanding of anything, it becomes someone else's superstition. And that's essentially what it was. And what the truth of the ball court was the fact that it was it was a game of initiation. When you look at the mural on either side of the court, it actually describes the process of the initiate, who seems to be kicking a skull inside a circle. And that skull inside the circle is the Mayan symbol for the soul. They call it the way. Okay, and there's another story I'll tell you about that later. So they would basically kick this ball around, this soul around, and the main, at the center of the story of the play was a guy who had his head chopped off, and there was 7 serpents that came out of his head. One of the serpents was called Wakachan, which literally is, of course, the tree of life. So why would someone have his head chopped off, 7 serpents come out of his head, out of his body, and one of them is called the tree of life? Obviously there's more to the story than just a gruesome game. So if you actually look at the projection of the story that goes from one center of the court to the other, it turns out is that the actual ball that's featured in the ball court is actually a planet, and it seems to go above and below the ecliptic through the galaxy. So what it's actually describing is the progress of the actual solar system, how it all works, and how your relationship, how your soul relates to this travel through the stars. So essentially, what you're sort of describing is a ball game of the gods. How the universe works, the celestial mechanics. And you as the ball player interact with those mechanics, and you become part of the big drama, which is what Shakespeare was essentially alluding to when he was writing his plays. The world is a stage, and every man is a player. So Shakespeare, in a way, was demonstrating the concept of the ball court. And what happened was the ball court was designed in a certain way, all based on musical notation. So the height of the ring, where you were supposed to pass a real ball through, which usually symbolized Venus, you'd throw the ball through the ring, and that allowed you to see into the other world. It was a metaphor for you to see through the other world. And you could tell because on the ring, which is usually, let's see, 3/7 of the distance above the ball court, which of course is the octave multiplied 3 times. Everything is based on musical notation. You put the ball through the actual hoop, and the actual hoop was carved with 2 intertwined serpents, the masculine and the feminine serpents of life, the eternal drama that goes on and on and on, the Ouroboros, if you like.